city sky. On a rooftop, I'll light a cigarette, 'cause I can't forget. You and me, we burn like fire. I don't know why you and I didn't really see eye to eye. I couldn't see a sign, so I guess your guess is as good as mine. But I still know I'm on your mind. I'm sorry for everything I've done. I remember when we still had fun, 'cause I still hear your voice and I still call your name. But I know now you feel the same. So come on now, let's talk about it. You say it now. Do you feel the same? All the times we spent when you held my hand, just making out. I never thought back then that I'd be here and we'd be breaking up. Just wanna say, I hope you're okay. Yeah. My, do you miss those years? Do you miss those years? My, let me drown your fears. Let me drown your fears. I'm sorry for everything I've done. I remember when we still had fun, 'cause I still hear your voice and I still call your name. But I know now you feel the same. So come on now, let's talk about it. You say it now. Do you feel the same? Sorry for everything I've done. I remember when we still had fun, 'cause I still hear your voice and I still call your name. But I know now you feel the same.
Speaking of marketing, one of today's greatest marketing triumphs in the entertainment field is video games. It's a business which has tripled in size in just 3 years. Ron Hendren went out in the field to bring us this special report.
All over the country, armies of young people are blasting away at invaders from outer space and paying for the privilege. I'll be looking at the electronic game craze, which has not only fascinated the nation, but which has created some interesting problems as well. Although it looked innocent enough, this machine turned out to have some unusual powers. It kept kids mesmerized for hours.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to NECC Rainbow6 Siege. Tonight, I'm Treasury. I'll be joined with Welku for the final normal play match of the season here between UC Davis 2 and Buena Vista University. It should be a pretty fun one to watch here as we close it out and head on into playoffs next week. Welku, what do we got here on our maps for this first match?
Well, we're going to be jumping in right away to Villa since everyone's in the lobby. So let's just see what those bands are going to be. But in the meantime, I'll quickly say that the next one will be Oregon. If we make it there, the third map will be Cafe. So I'm curious to see if we'll get there. But on paper, this looks like it might be a beatdown, unfortunately. UC Davis, very good record, 6-2 right now. And Buena Vista is only, I think, with one win on the season so far. So we'll see what happens. But there's no real stakes here. One of these teams is locked for the playoffs, UC Davis. The other one's out of contention. So we might just see some fun play coming out from both teams.
Yeah, a bit of an exhibition match isn't too bad. Sort of de-stresses off of all of the really intense matches we've been coming off of here at the end of the regular season. Looks like we're starting off with our Thatcher and Jackal bands, both pretty reasonable here on Villa. It's a pretty large map. Thatcher's always going to be a really valuable operator to ban off. He can do so much with his EMP grenades, especially as far as getting into wall on the southern side of the map by study, which is also going to be a reason for Mira being banned, right?
Right. Mira just has a lot of utility, especially on that aviation gaming room bomb site, looking into the study. And then also you can place it in other areas. And then you can even place it on the wall looking towards bedroom if you're playing trophy and that. So just a really good app. And the last one is going to be Valkyrie. Valkyrie's ban rate is the highest this season so far in Pro League and in even any of the other leagues I've been spectating. Her pick rate is just been through the roof when it's available. And I think people are just starting to catch on with the Echo nerf where his drones are now visible. Well, let's just take care of the one that can be thrown in these cheeky positions and also been throwing out. They can throw them outside of the map and that's going to allow you to have a lot of information that you can't always find. You can't always find those cams as attackers. IQ will be brought, and I think that's just more to get things from below, like the Cade charges. But that would be a good counter, and the only counter really to the Valkyrie.
Yeah, IQ is always going to be really nice there. It looks like here to start off with, Buena Vista is going to show no hard breachers. I think that is pretty clear telling that they're going to be changing to something. Um, Maybe not the best use of hiding that, since I think UC Davis is going to know that they're going to end up needing one, and a ace is always a nice option there. But it's a little bit to throw just something in the chains of the cogs that UC Davis has going. They're prepped for it though. Legacy will be running that Kaid, ready to electrify up the wall and sort of stop that wall opening.
Yeah, Cade's going to be the primary line of defense, and it's really hard if you place those properly to take care of them, but the IQ on the board will allow you to find exactly where they are, so that is really nice. And then on top of it, the ace will, of course, get the walls open. Now, I'm curious to see, though, what kind of push we're going to see. Are they going to do the standard take from the bedroom that has become more of the meta, or will we see them try and still go for the study push that I think has fallen out of favor in more recent times? And I think if you were going to go that route, you're going to have to make sure that you drone properly, as there are going to be people peeking all those doorways. And then, of course, having the IQ go below, that's a really dangerous position for them.
As far as I can tell here, it looks like Amtro is the only player to spawn on the south side. He's got some anti-roam capabilities, but he doesn't have to be directly on the roamers to do that, so he can still provide his utility to his teammates on those calls. It looks like he's going to have to be, since they're going to have to be dealing with the roam on the north side by master bedroom. And IQ already doing work, trying to check for any gadgets here, any preparation from master bedroom side from the defenders.
Guac on a little lurk below the bomb site, and I think that they're expecting the IQ to go below, just like I was talking about earlier. But so far, she's over in that master bedroom area, so not going to be doing that like you would normally think. But she might rotate down below a little bit later after helping clear the upstairs area off to the north side of the map. Looking at the lineups, though, I do want to point out there is a Ying on the board, and she's not bringing smokes, so she can't help clear some of the ADSs, but they do have that line you mentioned with flashbangs and smokes in the hand of the ace if they need to burn up some of those to help the Ying have more use.
We saw Cheesy come off a repel there. I think he might have very early on gotten the vault wall open with his ace charges, just throwing one in the window on Classical Hall. So that's a really nice thing to get so early in the round. Otherwise, Buena Vista seems to be a little slow here on the take. No picks taken off the board yet. It's going to be a little bit frantic here in the last minute to push up and get more ground.
Yeah, I do. I do have a little concern here. Bringing the line doesn't bring you all that much utility. So again, they're going to have a harder time clearing what they need to clear. There are Maestro cams, and you have to be careful of the ADSs. So you only have Ash, you don't have the Sophia, and you don't even have grenades. So that's the only way to take care of those, unless they, of course, open their shutters. But that's not always a guaranteed thing for yourself. So you have to be very careful and very wise with the utility. But Archangel's going to open up the round, getting a kill on the Guac, and that's going to be the attackers actually getting that opening kill on that lurker below the Wamai. But Huncho here, standing at the bottom of red, he's going to try and get a pick, not able to finally secure that kill. He will onto Chaotic. Chef will get a kill onto J-Flaws as well, so these defenders kind of give themselves the advantage now. Only 30 seconds remaining.
This is where the push is really going to be coming through. Archangel really pushed to get into sight, not coming out very well for him. And there's the refrag. Legacy picking up another on Amtro, leaving Cheesy as the last player left. He doesn't have any actual access into sight. He's got a couple doorways to push into, and there's a C4 going to burn, not finding anything. They don't know his location, but now it looks like they do. He's going to be watching a pretty nasty crossfire here, but nevertheless, he can get behind the vault door, not quite getting the plant down as Legacy picks up another kill to finish out the round.
Yeah, he's kind of in a really bad situation there. You can't even go for a plank when you're in a 1v3. No one to guard your back, so you have to go for the frags, and just 3 different angles to watch. It was just really impossible for him, and that just came on the back of that kills from Hancho and the other teammate. I don't remember quite who it was, but they got those 2 frags, and then time just played into their favor from there on out. And the defense just had a solid hold. You mentioned earlier in that round, they were just really struggling to get to where they needed on the attacking side of things. They didn't get into the right positions. They took way too long clearing things out. Yes, they finally found the Wamai, but they could have been doing better drone work, I feel, to make it so they were already pushing towards site even halfway through the round instead of the latter last minute, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where the early pressure not being there just sort of leaves you on the back foot on the attack. Buena Vista needed a little more droning presence, it looked like to me, coming from especially the master bedroom side, so that way they could push up faster in the middle half around the second minute or so.
Oh, winning that first round means they have to go to a different bomb site, so they're going to opt for that trophy statuary hold, which some people really like and some people say is actually a little more difficult. It all depends on the team, of course, preference. But the thing that isn't really changing is the lineup. They are bringing essentially actually, it might be the exact same lineup. I'm looking. Maybe the Malusi was switched out for something. I'm trying to recall.
Yeah,
But
I think the UC Davis lineup is exactly the same.
yeah, so they're just going
Chaotic
to
Thunder switching to a Thermite on the other side, bringing some extra hard breach.
Yeah, so for the most part, it's staying the same. But as you mentioned, the hard breach, you need that extra help sometimes. But I don't feel like that was the problem. The problem was IQ didn't go below, so Ace wasn't even able to open anything up because of the cave charges. So hopefully they can fix that in this attack.
Yeah, I think it might be a little more accessible. We saw IQ coming through Kitchen on the last round, and if she takes the same move, we still have Archangel going through there. He picked up a frag on that attack coming up by Red as well, so that might not be terrible, and looks like he's already pushing up over there. So maybe this time the bedroom take will be a little more successful for Buena Vista.
See the drone work coming out. If he gets this correctly, he will find the Jaeger just playing there. The only problem is you need someone to drone you. You're by yourself. There's no refract potential. So at the very least, have a teammate help you, but he doesn't need the help apparently. Our games are going to take off the Jaeger's head, and that is going to be Huncho off the board early on, not even a minute into this round. So these attackers are already starting a little bit faster and a little bit better than they did last time.
Yeah, there's the pressure we just didn't see before. And this is a really nice start, and there's not much actual presence by Master Bedroom, so Buena Vista is getting some early ground pretty effectively here. As soon as Archangel gets those Kaid charges off the wall, I think we're going to be seeing some walls go down.
Yeah, IQ below finally gonna allow them to open up this wall. I hope so far that electric claw is still persisting. Depending where they place it, it can be a little annoying. If it's placed in a specific position that has a metal bar, it can be really quite difficult for the IQ to actually take it out. So that's the main concern. But Guac's gonna get killed onto J-Flaws. In the meantime, that's the Ying off the board, so those Candelas will not ring out. Kind of gonna bring no utility for their team in that case. And now Archangel has to watch out for the flank. Guac gonna get a kill on the Amtro as well. So now that's gonna put them in a man advantage, but not for long. Archangel will refrag onto Guac, and that's gonna leave them in a 3-3, a little bit over a minute remaining.
Guac is just leaving a trail of bodies there, but Archangel has really been popping off here. That's his third kill. X-Knight taking out Chaotic Thunder, though. That's going to leave it a little rough. Archangel is still stuck on Astro's stairs with the telegraphed presence. And Cheesy is once again one of the last players left. Actually, the last player left as Archangel goes off the board once again to Legacy. And Legacy has a really good power position here, able to watch all the way through Bathroom if Cheesy decides to continue pushing from Master Bedroom. And two teammates at his back as well. This looks like it might go the same way as last round for Cheesy.
Yeah, 1v3 yet again. So as you mentioned, virtually the exact same situation, just a different bomb site. They did actually manage to get the wall open and not looking at the breach for some reason is Knight, and they're going to be taken off the board. Now Cheesy only has to find 2 more kills, but 30 seconds is going to push him into those players. We'll see if he's able to win the gunfights. They're going to go through the rotate. He does not catch them on that rotate, but he might catch them here. But unfortunately, just mistiming 2 different times. I feel like he could have got
There's
that
almost
gate.
a chance for another kill right there through
Right.
that site.
But in any case, 15, now 10 seconds actually, and these wub-wubs are also going to give his position away. He's going to have to just move through the breach probably, unless he's going to really contest this wub-wub. It's not going to really work out for him. Legacy going to take him out of the game, at least out of the round. That's going to wrap it up for them. UC Davis taking 2 in a row now.
Legacy is just really unstoppable. They're holding us some power positions behind cover, making sure that there's nothing anyone can do to contest him. And it's been obviously working out. There's 2 rounds for UC Davis, looking quite comfortable with multiple players left on the board against the final player on Buena Vista. This time they get to go to a 3rd objective. It might be a little more of a boon to Buena Vista to have a tertiary objective played by UC Davis, but something's going to have to change so that we don't have to see quite the same kind of round.
I'm curious to see. Yeah, they're going to bring the Jaeger instead of the Wamai. I do think that that is the better operator. Bringing the Wamai would leave you waiting for those Dis 2 spawns. So if there was some sort of rush, you really could find yourself in a bad position on defense. In this case, they're going to switch away from that. So the ADSs are more secure, I think, more safe. And so that'll allow them to do everything they need to do, even if there's a little bit late of a setup. If they tried to rush and flash you, for example, it's not going to really come through in the manner that it could have, at least with the my. In this case, they are going to be that third site, like you had mentioned, down in kitchen. They're going to bring that castle, which I really like for this bomb site. It can seal off the doorways and make them waste utility and maybe even time. And you also look at the lineup. They didn't bring the sledge, which is like the only real counter, except for if you have to use utility. So those breaching charges and the ash charges will have to be utilized to open up those, unless they want to take so much time just physically smashing them with your fist, and it takes like 9 hits to break them.
Yeah, there's an interesting lineup from Buena Vista this round. Everything's really changed between both sides. Very notably, Archangel is now on the Fuse, along with Amtro on DeKB, Chaotic Thunder playing Buck. All very vertical operates, well, despite the DeKB. Going to give some more intel similar to the Lion from before, but this is going to be very vertical from the lineup, it appears. And this shift in the use of the explosive, different kinds of explosives, might be a problem, like you're mentioning, dealing with those castle barricades. There's not as much that's so easily deployed there, except for Cheesy's Ace Selma breaches.
What is interesting, though, is they didn't bring a mute, so these fuse charges will be able to be activated fairly easily. So they could get the vertical play, or they could actually go on those castle barricades and use the fuse charges on them. So it actually could be used against these defenders if they're wise to it, and if they have the right positioning. Of course, your feet will be at the lines of sight if they're able to lay down and see them. So that's always a danger, but I think it might be worth the risk if they get in the right position to utilize it. But first they have to start clearing out these defenders, and we do see some orange outlines above, and they're going to be contesting, and Guac is going to get the first kill on Amtro. That's going to be the Dokkaebi off the board. No phone calls were even rang, I don't think. So a lot of utility early in these rounds for these attackers that aren't coming out. We saw a Lion not able to really use any of his charges. Last time we saw the Ying die. Guac getting in another engagement. This time he's going to come out on the wrong side of it, though. A little HP left after that one.
He's still getting watched by Archangel, though, and Archangel is determined to get in there and get those fuse charges down. So he's going to put a lot into this. He's lost his DeKB ahead of him, but I think that was actually the more valuable one to trade out for. Archangel's really looking to keep surviving and really just rain down some terror on the kitchen below him.
There's still 2 of these defenders above, and so if they don't clear this out, they're going to have to go for just a horizontal push. Archangel is not going to lose that gunfight, though. Guac is going to get off the board, bring it back to an even man count. The trade came late, but he's not watching over towards the trophy side. Huncho's going to have an easy kill onto them, and now they're going to be in that man deficit still. And the time is wearing down. They're going to have to just go for a one-dimensional push, and I'm not a huge fan of it. If they try and push through Laundry, I feel this could be just a slaughter.
Yeah, Chaotic Thunder doesn't have any utility left here. He just has his gun, and he knows that there's someone behind cover. It's not much that he can do about it. He's going to have to wait for teammates to open that up in order to not make it just a 50-50 situation pushing in to B site. Shots are ringing out on the other side of the board, but nothing's going to quite come of it. It's a 4v3 in favor of UC Davis still, and they have overwhelming control of site and up top. They have the ability to rotate down from Master Bedroom through that hatch, and I think we'll see that very soon. Cheesy goes down to Huncho Pando, picking up his second with his UMP-45, getting fragged out by Chaotic Thunder. And this leaves us in the 2v3. Now Jay Flies is the last attacker left, and it's going to go down to Jeff Cousteau, picking up another double there to finish out the round with that MP5.
This is kind of going down like we expected. UC Davis is kind of pummeling Buena Vista, and it's looking pretty rough for them, but I do think that they're stalling out on these attacks. It looks like they have some things going for them, but then they just don't know where to go on the second step. Okay, let's take care of some of the people above. Well, they get one of the frags, and then they just give up on it. The other time, they get the wall open, but then they didn't really rotate anywhere else to push, and so the ace was left by themselves, just trying to push when they were in that trophy statuary defense. And this just seems to be a theme. They can even get the opening kill sometimes, but then from there, they just don't seem to have any direction of where they want to go.
Yeah, UC Davis is really just not allowing Buena Vista to have that follow through on the roam clear. It's just falling off every time, like you mentioned. And that gave them a full perfect rotation of their first 3 sites. So we're going to see the second rotation on the first half, and we'll see if BVU is able to find an opportunity to slow that down or to speed up their own attack and take down UC Davis to at least have a better rotation the second time. Force them onto Aviator again, hopefully, would be the move.
Yeah, and we're gonna see IQs continually being brought, and Archangel is able to get kills on it. We're able to see that they have 4, the most on their team by far, and I'd like to see them take care of the cave this time though, because I don't think they actually did take care of those claws last time, and then get some of those walls opened up. Or the other one that I actually prefer is the push from bedroom. Get control of that 90, open up the vault wall, put some pressure on them, maybe even get a couple kills. You got the opening kill last time when they went to this bomb site. You can put yourselves in better positions than we've seen them doing. And they even were in that opening kill. They had the right positions, but then they just took too much time, especially on this bomb site. So just a couple things that they could fix, and they could be winning rounds.
Yeah, it looks like, just like you were requesting, Buena Vista is heading towards the north end of the map, looking for that master bedroom take. Just about the entire team, aside from Archangel, who is sort of on this split push here. Cheesy took some damage early on, I think, from a spawn peek or some such. And Huncho Panda's going to get Archangel, sort of taking advantage of that split push. No one to refrag for Archangel. So that's just going to be a free kill for UC Davis.
Yeah, Chaotic Thunder going to get kill onto Huncho to bring it back, but I'm looking at something this whole time. I was trying to keep track of it better. Last time they had 5 drones still in their pocket, and they didn't utilize them properly. This time they're using the drones, but they're all getting destroyed, and Gawak is going to kill onto Chaotic Thunder, and that's going to give them the man advantage, and these attackers are just being stymied yet again. They're in a man disadvantage and getting close to half the round killed. They don't really have any control of the map either.
Glock is doing a really job here of getting these not quite opening kills every time, but blitzing some kills and then just hanging around and keeping up that threat. As we're seeing right now, he picked up that kill, kind of a long range kill from sort of a sliver of an angle, and now he's staying where the attackers are and just harrying them. He doesn't necessarily need to get kills now, he just needs to waste their time. And he's doing really well at that, spraying just into a statuary room just to create a distraction. Now he can head to red stairs, which is an even more defendable position.
Yeah, this position is oftentimes called Shiko because he'll sit here with the Jaeger with an ADS and just waste the time of those attackers and try and get some kills. Of course, it is a power position, and these attackers, yet again, as I mentioned, just not knowing what to do. Where are they pushing from? They're not even together. They're going to start using some utility to try and play off of each other, but so far, just nothing coming out. And I think part of the problem is a lack of confidence. I just haven't seen them take the gunfights aggressively enough. They're very passive, and when you're on attack, you can't be passive like this. We're going to see Cheesy get down, though, and so that's going to put them in an even worse position. Guac is definitely going to get that kill on the J Flaws, and now it's all up to Amtro. He might be able to help his buddy up, but they only have 30 seconds to do so and try and get an execute onto site, and they're still in that 2-man disadvantage even if he helps him up.
And the pressure's on here, and the fear is definitely there. Oh, there's an accidental misclick. Looks like it's not quite giving him the prompt, but with Cheesy down, that's a lot of time, and they weren't even sure to get him. Guac picking up another 2 once he has the location. He is just on a rampage.
Yeah, the quad kill coming up for Guac. What a great job from him on that round, but really, these attackers just not really pushing aggressively, as I said, not getting any key positions. They don't have the control of the map that you'd like to see from them. And so, of course, Guac is just going to take full advantage of the confusion and the chaos that we're seeing coming out from these attackers. And I think that they just need some help, honestly. I would, if they have a coach, you know, take a timeout or just talk to them, or I don't know what they're allowed to do necessarily, if they're allowed to be in the chat with them, but they just need some direction. I don't know who their IGL is as well, but say, let's reset our brains here. Let's try and focus. What are the strats, guys? We've played together. I know we're in college, so we might not have all the time to just practice and scrim together, but we at least have some idea, right? Like we played ranked games, at least get some coordination going. It's better than nothing. And so far, it just hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, what I really want to see is for J-Flaws to be set up in a position where he can really entry frag confidently, and I don't think he's getting the support from whoever his droning teammate may be to really get in there and get some action for himself. We're seeing an 0-4, and I don't think that's necessarily J-Flaw's gun skill or anything reflected here. I think it's just that coordination that we haven't been seeing these past 4 rounds, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the problem too is just they're not playing together, as you said. Either you can play the buddy system movement, try and get the refrag, which we haven't seen. We saw Archangel downstairs by himself. He gets killed by Huncho, and then no one's there to refrag it, for example. But the other thing is, as I was mentioning, their drone economy, they lost a bunch of drones last round, and yet I didn't see anyone next to the drones to act on it. We just saw another one. If you look at Buck, he just has another X in that circle part next to the drone symbol. That's just another drone wasted already, and the round just started. They're already down 2 drones.
Yeah, it is hurting on that drone economy right now. But they still have 8 drones. That's plenty to really
Oh no.
use here. And this is, whew, it's a dirty place for Huncho Pando to be, and it really paid off for him. It's not usually going to, but there's just going to be such a huge loss to BVU to lose Archangel so early on. He's been doing a lot of work for the team with 4 kills, really topping the leaderboard for them. And Huncho Pando, he's fighting every time. Huncho Pando and Guac, they just know where Buena Vista is going to be, and they take advantage of it so well.
Well, that's the other thing, is Archangel has pushed in from that basement on this site before. And then he's also just been pushing in from the bottom part of the map in general every round. So it's not that hard to start playing into these habits that the players get into if you know them. And they clearly know. So they're just like, oh, Archangel's going to push in. I bet he's going to push from basement. That's what he did last time on IQ. So I'm just going to wait for him this time. And then what happens? He does exactly that. It's an easy kill. This time, of course, he wasn't the IQ, but it didn't matter. It's still an op off the board. Now it's a 2v5, and this is just going to show just the difference in quality between these two teams. Not to say anything too mean about Buena Vista, but you can just tell that the practice, the coordination is just more gelled. The oil is there in the machine of UC Davis.
These early picks are really hurting for Buena Vista as well. I'm not sure what was happening there for Cheesy. Might have been hands off the keyboard for a second, even potentially. Chaotic Thunder left alone here to battle it out against a full team. I think really he's just looking to make sure it's not a flawless. And there it is, making sure Huncho Pando doesn't just get to keep going with those kills unchecked. But there are 4 teammates left on UC Davis 2 to deal with still. It's a huge hill to climb for Chaotic Thunder to get anything here. We've been seeing these early picks really hurt, though, especially losing explosives. Not having J-Flaws, who after the first 30 seconds means that for these last 2 hard breachers left, it was impossible to get through one of those Malusi gadgets. Those Banshees just made impenetrable walls.
Right, and I just have to question what's going on with the mentality of this team. They just look like they don't have any sort of plan coming into this. They just were just like, I'm just gonna push here, you push there. Oh, okay, sounds good. Like, there's no like, let's do this. Like, is anyone a leader on their team? I have to wonder who's telling them where to go, what to do, and making sure that people are playing together too. Oh, you're gonna go in through the basement. Let me drone for you, or if you're the IGL, the in-game leader, tell them you need to drone for yourself properly. We can't afford to lose you early. We've been getting stymied on these entries in the last few rounds. We've been having a hard time getting going with the game plan of getting the wall opened up, which is usually the objective. So what's going on here? They need to do a little bit more problem solving on their team. But in this case, it will be now the last round of the defense of UC Davis. And of course, since they've already won every single round, they're going to be on that 3rd site yet again of Kitchen.
Yeah, UC Davis is going for a 2nd perfect rotation in a row of all 3 sites. And they're set up very similar to the last time. I think Buena Vista has the same, or at least very similar lineup as well from the last time that they were on Kitchen. So I think this will play out a little similarly. Archangel is definitely still looking to go up top. Well, I guess the actual change is the KB is switched out for a line on Amtro. There we go. I knew there was something different. But Archangel is definitely looking to go up top and bombard both sites with his fuse charges. But before we saw some upstairs presence from Huncho, or not in Huncho Panda. No, I think it was Huncho Panda and Guac. Was Huncho Panda playing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It was a castle upstairs. It was a little curious to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as he puts down his castles, then I guess he can afford to just kind of go on the roam game. And losing him after he does put down that utility, I guess it's not a big deal. So to have him roaming is actually not a bad idea. Just not the best gun in hand, but you know, it is what it is. The other thing I noticed is he still has the beepers in his pocket and he hasn't thrown them yet. So that's a little curious. But at this point, if you're up 5-0, you can't help but feel pretty comfortable and confident.
Yeah, it looks like that second motion sensor has finally found its spot on the map. I guess those are something that can wait a little later. Sometimes deploy them in response to an attack just to make sure you know when they're pushing rather than where they're pushing from.
Yeah, that's true. And then also maybe he just wasn't fully upstairs yet. You know, I guess there's a couple of reasons for that. But in any case, they are down, and we're going to see the line coming out. But this is the problem again. You're going to throw that out there, but you're not pushing in with it. And you really could have. That's how you could catch them off guard. But in this case, Guac and Huncho above just like you mentioned last time, they did this and they just slaughtered. They weren't pushed out whatsoever. One of them did die, but at that point, they had already gotten more kills than they had losses on the side of the defense. And so the attackers were left with just 3 men who had to push site, and they just fed right into the machine that is UC Davis, and they just got slaughtered. So in this case, looking at it, they are going to be going for a little bit of a different approach. Archangel will be pushing from that steady side and trying to make his way over and to get maybe a surprise attack on these 2 defenders above.
Yeah, he's met with very little resistance, but he's a 3 armor. He's going to be loud heading over there, so it's going to be a little hard to take advantage of anyone. And Huncho Panda caught wind of him too early. That's going to be Archangel off the board, not getting to deploy, but he has given notification that there's not going to be too many people on the south side of the map, so at least he has that intel that he's granted to the team. And Chaotic Thunder actually picked up a kill as well on Chef Gusteau, which is going to be nice to open up, keeping the numbers even. And they actually have lines of sight into objective, so Legacy's going to be met with a hail of gunfire here from a couple of operators in the prep room.
They were able to get into this B site before, so I would have thought maybe you'd relocate with your diffuser into that bomb site and get the plant down. Like, they could really go for it right now. The Ash are going to try and clear them, and they will. Legacy is now out of that corner. They have some site control. There's going to be a kill from J-Flaws, but it's going to be refragged by Guac, and he's going to find a second one on the J-Flaws, and now it's an even man count. Getting a third one now. That's cheesy off the board, and now it's all on the back of Amtro, who is the Lion, but only has 1 scan left. He can't even get the kill, though. Huncho is going to push up and take him out, and that's UC Davis with a perfect half, 6-0.
That's going to send us on to a match point here for this flipped side. One of us is going to have this chance to defend. Villa is a good map to defend, so it's going to be a big sigh of relief for them to have this kind of break. Hopefully it'll go better for them here, but UC Davis has been really impressive so far. Huncho Panda and Guac both just nearly unstoppable whenever they start going on a tear. They've been trading off, taking turns, picking up kills, and really padding those KDs right now.
Yeah, I feel like Guac, if we can see the scoreboard in our walls, I'm just curious, how many kills does
I
this
think I
man
saw
have?
an 11
at double digits. Yeah, exactly. He has to have double digits. So he just got 3 last time. I think before that he had 8. So I think 11 does sound correct. And so almost 2 kills per round he's averaging, which is really impressive stuff. But these attackers now, they're going to have a little bit more coordination. Being on defense, as you mentioned, it's usually easier for teams, honestly. The attack does come down to coordination more than anything. Now, of course, winning your gunfights will always be the main feature of a gun FPS game like this. But when it comes to attack specifically, that coordination, the drone use, you be a lot more cognizant of what's going on with you and your teammates. Rather than defense, if you're roaming, you don't really have to necessarily know. You get the calls if they're pushing side or where they are, but you don't have to necessarily work in tandem with the team. You don't have to be aware of what utility do they have still in their pocket. You don't have to worry about all those kinds of things that you might have to while you attack. So for Buena Vista, this might be their chance to kind of get a couple rounds here. I have a hard time thinking they'll bring it back to overtime. They need 6 in a row, but at least they can maybe get some momentum so that they can have some confidence going into that second map.
Interestingly, Amtro opted for the Bandit as opposed to Kaid for the electrification of the walls. That's not going to come out too often. Usually we see a lot more Kaid since he's able to hide his actual electrification a lot easier. Amtro's going to be a little more vulnerable to explosives from below. It'll be a little easier to find things, and it's not like he can really hide it behind any kind of studs or bulletproof props or anything else from an IQ. Not that an IQ is actually on the board for UC Davis, but that's an interesting pick. It does allow for a better gun, though, in that MP7.
Yeah, the MP7 is a really great weapon, and I like it a lot. In this case, they are doing something which I was critiquing the other team for, which is drone work. We saw them double droning, making sure they're clearing out this floor, checking all the right angles. And if we look, they also haven't even lost a drone yet so far in this round. The one is being caught by the mute jammer, but it's not permanently disabled. Just shoot the mute jammer, it'll be available to you yet again. And so things like that are what separate these two teams. Now, Airjab is going to catch one of the rotating, trying to flank defenders down below on Astro, and they're going to be watching for that rotate. Chef Gusteau might just find them, or they can just be pinched sitting there on the Astro stairs.
Yeah, I love when you can see that comms have come out for a team. Chef Gusteau immediately looking for that hallway off of Astro stairs after the air jab went off. His teammates gave him the call on where he was going to be, and he knows where to be looking for if anyone is rotating back from Red Hall. For now, it looks like our defender is going to be sort of stuck out on the northern side of the map, but he can bide his time and wait to try and go for that flank up the stairs. That's not too bad for him.
Oh, the
Oh,
missing
no, you
the
hate to see him
shot.
attack.
Oh, well, it's all right. He had a second one, so it's not the end of the world. But that will make it so they have to worry about where the other Evil Eye will be. But Archangel is going to get an opening kill, but Guac will instantly refrag it. But that is going to be some nades off the board for these attackers, and he had 2 drones still in his pocket, so that is something to be a little concerned about. But you got the Jaeger off the board and the top fragger for the other team, so you probably feel pretty good about that pick.
Looks like Buena Vista is pretty hunkered down watching these angles from sight, but their angles are going to be messed up a little bit here as the walls get opened up by X-Knight. Vault is going to start to become a very dangerous area here with a lot of lines of sight in and out.
Yeah, Legacy going to be getting rid of this barbed wire. Just wants to put an air jab here, just in case there's another one of those funks come out from these defenders. No one's really contesting the doorway of the aviation room, so he's going to try and find something. There's a man who just missed the shots behind the couch there. Huncho, in the meantime, will get a kill onto Amtro, and that's going to give them now the man advantage. But refrags are coming out. J-Flaws onto Legacy, Cheesy onto Knight, and that's going to give these attackers a harder time, but they have gotten it down onto J-Flaws. So essentially, it's a 2v2, and they only have 10 seconds, though, to push, so this could favor BBU. They could find their first win here, but Huncho has something to say about it. Gets a kill, and now they are in a 1v2, essentially. The plant could potentially come down, but no, I don't think
there's not enough time for Huncho to get in. And
Chaotic.
there it is, the first one for Buena Vista.
Getting that kill, what a great job from them. Just the rotate was really confusing. I'm just gonna say it. They didn't have time for that rotate. I was hoping the player would realize it, but they almost got on the doorway, but unfortunately they were just met with the resistance, and there's just zero chance of that working out. And BVU will play that time to their advantage and get their first round win.
Yeah, Huncho Panda really just needed to hop into Vault and take whatever was coming. That was the only way to win at that point. A little earlier, we saw J-Flaws miss a couple shots over towards the player on the top of red stairs that we were spectating, but he was able to get that redemption, getting downed in exchange for trading out that player. And since that was the point of the attack, that actually really blunted the ability for UC Davis to actually get in and get that plant. So I think that was a pretty vital moment in Buena Vista landing that win.
Yeah, and the attackers looked so good in their coordination, but in that later time, they did look like they were also getting stalled out in the later part of the round. They were like, okay, we got the wall opened up, but we have to start getting gunfights now, and these defenders are not feeding us like we thought they might, right? It looked like they were holding angles, hoping people would come to them. Huncho did find that kill in the meantime over in 90. He was the Zofia laying down, so he did net one of the kills from someone trying to peek out onto them, but they still didn't have the control of the site. Those defenders played smart, they played time, and they got the win for it. So if they can continue to do things like that and just play the time, they can have that passive play style that didn't work for them on attack. So Buena Vista, this is starting to show that they can still get kills, they can still get those rounds, but their play style definitely seems to be more acclimated for that defense.
Definitely. That just overall seemed a lot more comfortable from the defenders as well. While UC Davis was looking a lot more confident and getting those drones in more effectively, Buena Vista also was able to a lot more confidently take gunfights. And, I mean, more of them turned out in their favor that time. So I think we can expect to see a similar thing this round, now that we're on Trophy Room and Statuary. There's a lot of attack coming down through Kitchen on the first floor. What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting they're not bringing that IQ, but you don't really need to in this case. It's just going to be mute jammers. Your lineups are revealed to each other, so there's only the possibility of a 6-pick. So, you know, there's only going to be really one form of denial likely, and with the buck in play, you don't really need the IQ then. They're just going to be able to get the soft destruction from below with the shotgun, and he's going to be able to take care of those mute jammers so they get this wall opened up.
It looks like with all these players coming in through Kitchen, this Astro Tag is going to be really important in the coming minutes in order to meet up with X-Knight, who's upstairs by Master Bedroom with that diffuser. But we're not quite seeing this push for more real estate right now. Really just holding and trying to get the floor open. Might kind of bite them in the butt here in a bit.
Yeah, it might, but they do still have plenty of time. It's only halfway through the round, and the thing I do like is that they are going to be guarding that player, trying to get the walls available to be opened up by taking care of the utility that's on the wall. That's something we didn't see from BBU. They only sent one person, that was Archangel. I can't even say that name for some reason today. they were by themselves downstairs, though, and that was a problem. Now, Guac is going to jump in and get hit by a frost mat, so they weren't aware of that op choice, apparently, or just weren't paying enough attention to that choice. And the oversight will cost them. Archangel, in the meantime, we had just said his name. He's going to get killed onto Chef Cousteau, and that's going to open up the game for them. And also, Guac, after hitting that, is going to be on such low HP. it's going to put these defenders in a really good position.
Wow, that Maestro cam is really wrecking havoc. It took out a Selma. It's also taken out at least one drone in master bedroom. That's kind of a lot to take out without any resistance to that one Maestro cam. Those 2 kills coming out, or a second kill coming out on Legacy, is going to mean quite a bit here for Buena Vista. They can play more aggressive, and they can play for these kills. Archangel picking up another one on Hunter Pando, just like I was saying. And this is looking increasingly in their favor, as they have double the players left. Ooh, not for long, though, as X-Knight was just going to take that one with his AK-12.
Yeah, X-Knight getting another kill. He has a double, so he might find a triple, and that'd be 2 different players with a triple on this round if he does. So that'd be really interesting. But they don't have time here. They only have 15 seconds, and there's 3 defenders versus just the 2 of them on attack. So they don't really have a lot of wiggle room here. Smokes are going to come out, try and cover some of the angles so they can start pushing in, but they just don't seem to have the right positions. There's going to be a kill in the trade coming out, but Knight by himself with the AK in hand is going to try and get a plant, but he's only baiting. He's going to sit in the smoke, just hoping they don't find him, and the chances aren't very great. J-Flaws will indeed get that kill and find another round. BVU seeming like they might actually make this comeback happen.
Just repeatedly shotgunning into the smoke, hoping to get him. It's just like, whatever, I'll do it myself. Dives right on in there to get that last kill.
Yeah, that's a really good job. Well done. But they have to now show us, can they also get a full rotation like we saw from UC Davis? If they can get this 3rd site, which is oftentimes the hardest site to defend for those teams. That's why, it's the last choice. If they can get it, though, that would really set them up for a good success. They already have 2 in a row now. Momentum has started to shift into their favor. And if they can continue playing like this, especially Archangel, who's just been consistent throughout the entire game, but he's really showing up now to help succeed in these defensive rounds.
Yeah, the tide has really turned for Buena Vista, but we're going to be on match point for up to 4 rounds if they're able to really take this all the way back and take it to overtime. And that's just so many opportunities for Buena Vista to slip up and UC Davis to just, take it and run with it and head on into the next map. So this is just a lot of pressure to put on each of these individual rounds. And like you mentioned, here on Kitchen being the 3rd site, this is the weak spot in the defense. And that's where, UC Davis is really going to be, they're hungry for this one. This is where the win is.
Indeed it is. This is where the win is. They just need 1 more round. So while you might have lost 2 in a row, UC Davis, you're still in the driver's seat. You have so much room for error still. 4 more rounds, as you mentioned, at least, and then we'd find ourselves going to overtime. So they still have a lot of a buffer there to allow them some flexibility, and they can experiment even if they felt like they needed to. But in this case, it looks like they're bringing in a pretty standard lineup. The IQ being brought, I think that's mostly just to counter potential 6 picks to a pulse from below. That's the only real reason I can see it. Otherwise, it's really not all that useful for an upstairs take. But they do at least bring the G8, which is a good gun, and they bring those breaching charges so they can help with some of the soft destruction above.
Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be too surprised if Guac was taken for the G8. He's been doing a lot of fragging already, and as long as he got some support from his teammates, just taking a comfortable gun would be a really reasonable thing to do in this situation. Just make sure that they can get those opening picks that they've been a little bit lacking in the last couple rounds.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, though, will this window player see Archangel here, and they're not going to somehow?
Yeah,
It sounds like
just
they...
not quite lining up.
That was interesting, but I do also want to point out IQ can still see the Vigil when his power is activated, so that can still come back to bite them later on in this round if that engagement does indeed come out. But so far, these defenders are just going to continue to persist above, and no one's really stopping them yet. It looks like they are finally maybe pushing into that bedroom area, and so they might start getting a pinch here, but not the right time to be reloading. Archangel, you're going to be downed and not quite finished off yet by that player on the window. There is someone looking in from bedroom, as I had mentioned, so Legacy will secure the kill, kind of taking it from his buddy, but you want to make sure the guy's dead.
Yeah, Archangel kind of played fast and loose there between his opponents, really exposing himself to more angles than he needed to on both of those windows. I think it was just a matter of time Chill is coming, but at this point, UC Davis is looking pretty solid through master bedroom. They've been taking it a little bit slow, making sure that they have the knowledge, and they've got the first 2 opening kills on Archangel and Amtro. So this is looking very advantageous and looking a lot more like that match for them, or round for them.
Right. I mean, maybe they just said, we've had enough. Let's start taking this round, boys. We can do this. Let's finish this map out. And looks like they really have a great chance to do so here. Only a minute remaining, but there's still a decent amount of time and they can start getting that soft destruction. We are hearing Chef Gusteau with that buck shotgun in hand, starting to get some work done, but they have to be very wary, and hopefully someone is watching the flank. They have the Nomad, so an air jet probably will be placed to help secure that flank watch. But the Vigil still is going to be a factor in this round. Knight, though, going to take out Chaotic Thunder, and that's going to put them in now an even better man advantage. This is looking like it really will be that round win that they're looking for, but there's still some defenders left. Guac going to take out one of those two, and now it's all up to Cheesy, saying how he could be a factor, but 1v5 situation here, and the plant is going down in sight. He's going to be in a 1v5 post plant, and it is looking very dire, and he's going to try and find someone in sight. He's going to get the shots and get the down and kill onto Guac, but still 4 more to find, and you only have about 25 seconds if you include that diffuse time, so it's really a lot to do. He's going to continue looking through those holes the attackers had made themselves, but he's not able to find another kill. He's not able to net anything. And then Chef Gusteau, he goes into his waiting arms. That's going to be Villa taken care of. 7-2 going in favor of UC Davis.
Yeah, that whole map ended as it started, really cheesy as the last operator trying to make it happen against the full 5 players on UC Davis. He was able to get 1 kill both times, I think, but or no, I don't think he got the first kill on the first round, but it was a 1v4 both times by the end. But he just wasn't able to quite make it happen. Cheesy picking up that first frag, but there's still 4 more plays. They can spare one to head right up red stairs and take him down. Chef Gusteau taking that pick and finishing off quite cleanly. That'll be it for our map 1. We'll be heading on to map 2, which should be Oregon, which will actually be UC Davis's choice on map. So look forward to that. We'll be back in just a few minutes on break. We'll be back with everyone the same. Just stay tuned.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Hello once again. We're back again with BVU versus UC Davis 2. This will be our second map actually heading to Oregon. The first one actually went to UC Davis 2. I'm Treasure and I'm joined once again by Welku for the duration of this map. This will be the last match for the regular season of NECC Rainbow6 Siege. So make sure you don't miss it. This is going to be a really good one. What do you think we've got coming up, Welku?
Well, we did see on the last map, which was Buena Vista's pick, they got 7-2, so kind of expected, honestly, to go the same story. But in this case, it'll start off a little different, I do think, since Buena Vista will be on defense, and this is Oregon, notoriously one of the most defender-sided maps, so they might stand a chance to at least get a few more rounds versus UC Davis, and maybe even get an upset, but I'm not going to go that far personally. As for my predictions, I think it'll probably be a very similar scoreline, 7-2. I'll give them the benefit. I'll say 7-3. They might find 3 rounds maybe on defense or 2 there and find 1 on attack. So they might get something going for themselves. But overall, I think UC Davis showed us last map they really were the better team.
Yeah, we talked about this in between here during the break. That's I agree with him absolutely on that prediction. I think if it goes the same way, we might get up to that even 3-3 split from what we saw. Most likely, but I'd love to see Buena Vista could really show off their colors on Oregon here on that defense. So that's what I'm really hoping for here.
Yeah, me too. I really, for their sake, just have a little bit of confidence. I know you guys aren't going to be in playoffs, but some of these players, I don't know I'm looking right now to see, and I don't see anyone necessarily showing off being older. It's just freshmen and sophomores, so they still could be here, next fall, next spring. So they still have definitely time to grow, but this would be a good time to just, try and have some of that growth to show us what you got. In the meantime, looking at the bands, though, they're pretty standard so far. I'm not seeing anything that surprises me. Thatcher's band, the Jackal pick, I mean, if you want to roam a lot, of course, that's always going to help you. So maybe that's why. The Mira is just, of course, on so many different maps, she's powerful.
I'm hoping
And
for Valkyrie here.
yeah, Valk, that's
We might
exactly
have
what
the
I'm thinking.
exact same bands in the same order as last time. Oh no, we're in by
Oh.
Malorsi. It's sort of been how Rainbow's been for the last couple seasons here. It kind of summed up Rin by Malorsi.
Right. I mean, for now, but she has
They
that.
traded their bands that time between the Thatcher, Jackal,
Oh yeah.
Mira. They traded
good
off
point.
with the other team band last map.
Both teams must hate Jackal. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah, I mean he's good on these big wide maps where there's a lot of ability for the realm. And I mean right off the bat we see Archangel and Chaotic Thunder both opting for really realm heavy characters. I assume that Chaotic Thunder switched to that Caveira in order to switch right back to Vigil, just that they'd have something a 6th pick there. And Archangel also on Jaeger, as I mentioned, that's a lot of roaming potential that could really be shut down by a Jackal. But maybe no Vigil, maybe Frost instead.
Well, taking the Cav out and switching it for the Frost, I like that a lot. The Cav is really just it's not in favor for a reason, It's just not.
Yeah, Kevin's
like,
really
maybe
just a character in
right. Like, maybe you could throw in a one round where she'll really do something, right? But that's a one in however many, like a million maybe. She's really not that useful.
Yeah, it's just taking a bad bet. I mean,
honestly, it really is. But the Frost does have a lot of utility. We've seen her pick rate skyrocket in the last few season, just simply because she brings the shotgun backup now.
Yep.
She has that shield, and then of course the Frost mats themselves, the Pog mats as they call them. They're going to be placed all around the maps. There's plenty of places to put them. You notice that drop down there in attic. You could put it right there, and they will try and push through there, or you could put them in doorways around the corners in default plant positions that they might not look right away because they might be pushing the last few seconds of the round, things like that. So you really have a lot of moments that can capitalize on those Pog mats. On the other side of things, I like the lineup. I want to point out they have a lot of nades in hand, so they have the Iana and the Maverick bringing grenades, so I like that a lot. And then on top of it, the Maverick paired with the Ace will secure, virtually assure them that they can get these walls opened up.
Yeah, is the Ace on Big Tower side though? I think he spawned over by bedroom as far as I can tell.
Right, he's gonna Maverick.
He's the only player over there. Is Maverick? Okay, yeah, just opened up the whole thing. Is Huncho Pando here as well though? No, Legacy was. Is that nading open a hole? That's an interesting one. Not quite equipped properly for this soft breaching job. Oh no, I have bitten my tongue here. That was phenomenal from Glock, cooking it perfectly to open that up for his team. They don't even need another proper hard breacher.
What was
Maverick
nice
tricking
about
the
that?
frag in is perfect for him.
Yeah, no, what was nice about it too, I just want to add on to it, is that that grenade also takes care of the electric claw, which allows him to put that Iana and let it go through the hole. It would have been zapped and taken up. But Hancho is going to take out Chaotic Thunder in the meantime. That is going to give these attackers that man advantage, and they're already doing quick work. We see the closet wall has been opened up as well, so they already get the pincer movements coming in through both of those walls like you'd expect. So this is like a very basic and well executed attack so far.
Yeah, J-Flaws was really in a dangerous position there, backing off out of Attic as the attackers really push in there and take even more ground. They've been brutally effective with it, and already they're going to have full movement between Attic and Trophy Room. This is shaping up really well for UC Davis already. This is their map, and they're showing it. Picking up these 3 kills as well. Chef Gusteau getting one, followed up by Legacy. Archangel refragging one out, but he's the last member on his team, and Guac has something to say about that.
Yeah, that was job well done. I kind of expected this looking at how that was unfolding. They were hitting all the boxes you needed. And this is part of the problem when you're a very passive team. We saw the passive was playing into the favor of Buena Vista last map. This is a map where you really do want those roamers. You do want the aggression. You want the flanks coming out. And they had some, but they were caught by the air jab. So you have to know how to counter that. If you're the Vigil, you're pretty well equipped. You can use those impact grenades to take care of it.
I really like that pick. Like they showed before, and I was like, I think that would be great right now.
Now, the only problem with this lineup in basement is they have nothing to deny the grenades. And so without a Wamai or a Jaeger, this Iana and the Maverick will have free reign to just throw those in and potentially get a kill. Now, one of them was switched away from onto an IQ, which is an interesting choice. I don't think she's actually all that great on this map. There's a lot of floor that isn't destructible here.
So little,
and especially the basement. Exactly. So I don't know if that's the play, but they still have the 2 grenades, and there's nothing to deny those grenades. So using the Maverick grenades is going to be key here just to flush out whatever they want to flush out.
I mean, I think that's the second time that we saw Guac go for that IQ in a position where the gadget's not going to do very much for him. So I really do think that the G8A one is the comfort pick for just fragging out for the team.
G8 go Burr. That's what he's thinking.
Go Burr.
Well, the Vigil will be on that realm. I'm assuming they're going to be taking care of these hatches, making sure that they're not so easy to be opened up. But the Cade wasn't banned, and that's the other thing I'm noticing. Where's the denial? It's just going to be a mute, so you're going to allow them to get the hatches. Any hatches that they want to get open, they can get opened up. But the other thing is, they don't have the best equipment on the attacker side, so it's not the end of the world. They're going to have to use 2 stomach charges or Maverick. And Maverick does take a bit of time to get hatches opened up, so it'll kind of help play into these defenders as far as killing time goes.
Guac is just pushing in with that G8A1 like we said. He doesn't have any drones up ahead of him. He's pushing all alone. It looks like his whole team is pushing more towards the northeastern end of the map. So that might be a problem for him. If he does get fragged out, there's going to be nothing to refrag him. Archangel losing his head for nothing. They're just sticking out a little too far. Chef Gusteau taking advantage of that without hesitating. And that's a really nice start for UC Davis once again here. They got to deal with that mute jammer in order to get more intel up towards pillars. It's not going to work out for their drone, unfortunately. But they're taking ground pretty quickly here, and they're going to have access to the wall into E-Box, which is a really vital thing to open on pushing into basement.
It's interesting to see them opening that up. I'm surprised the Maverick hasn't just pushed towards that elbow wall and started doing some Maverick stuff, but the cams haven't been found out, and it's an IQ too, so that's kind of a blunder to not see that with your gadget. It doesn't matter. You know, Chaotic Thunder is going to die anyway, so Guac certainly rushing in with that G8 is exactly how they feel comfortable. They're going to find a second one on the J-Flaw, so who cares if you use your gadget properly or not? If you win your gunfights, this is the FPS, so they're just going to win anyway. 5-2 now, halfway through the round, just coming into fruition right now. This is looking really good. Cheesy, though, on a flank, it looks like got Huncho Panda in the behind, and he's paired with his buddy, and they're working together there, but they're going to separate now, and that could be dangerous for them. Knight is thinking about getting that plant down, and he's going to start doing so here. Cheesy going for a very long flank towards the big tower stairs. In the meantime, we see Chef Gusteau, I can't even say it. He's taking some damage, so I'm assuming that the Legion of Amtro is doing some damage to distract them, but Cheesy's going to really need to come out and help his teammate here as this timer is going to tick away after the plant.
Cheesy's wasting a little too much time here. He's got some openings that he can shoot through, but now he's alone with Amtro off the board. He's got 4 players to deal with, and it's just taking so long. His location is locked. He doesn't have anywhere to go that's going to give him enough time to actually get down there and plant. And the frag is going to do it. Chef Gusteau picking up another one. Actually trading there with Cheesy in order to get the frag down. You know, a life for a life. Soul for a soul.
Soul for a soul. Indeed. Well, that was a round where we just saw them just come in, and the gun power on the attack coming out from UC Davis is just showing us that no matter what, strats really are secondary in this game right now. The 20-second meta really did make it so you had to play far more strategic. You had to know exactly what to do with your utility. If you wasted anything, you could find yourself with these shields and things persisting and blocking your way, and you just didn't have the chance to let your gun skill show. And in this case, that's no longer happening anymore. That 20-second meta, 30-second meta, whatever you want to call it, it's gone. And so in this case, these gunners are going to be able to push in without much to stop them. And the other thing to keep in mind is they aren't really bringing utility to slow them down all that much. Yeah, there's cap cans and the trap ops of Legion and Frost, but so far those haven't really netted them all that much. I'd like to see them bring things like shields and maybe some more cams. I think the Valkyrie could have capitalized on that cam a little bit better. But in this case, they're just not bringing all that much to help themselves out with the passive play style that they have on BVU.
Yeah, and I think it's last time we saw the flanks come out not entirely passive in that function, but it just took too long for Amtro and Cheesy to respond to the calls that they had, that there was actually someone going down Freezer stairs, and that just gave enough time for Guac to actually get a kill in Freezer and kind of storm from there into sight and pick up another one very easily in storage room. And by that time, once he had gotten 2 kills, there was finally a flank taking out Huncho Pando behind him. But that just left us with Amtro and Cheesy locked out of sight on first floor with no way to actually push in and actually take post-plant scenario. So I think it's like a combination of playing the passively and flanking when you need to, just being the problem right now for BVU.
Well, they're doing a lot better this round. They got 2 kills
seriously.
just to start things off. Chaotic Thunder, and it was Archangel getting those kills. But Chef Gusteau is going to refrag onto Amtro, getting it a little bit closer. There's a 3v4 for these attackers, and they're going to try and use the Iana to gather more information here. But only a minute in, and they're already in this situation. So they're going to have to figure out what they want to do here. One of the hard bridges off the board, but Maverick can still Maverick trick, so they can still find themselves able to do some damage here.
Lexy's gotten some good ground here all the way through Trophy Room, and in Master Bedroom, he's able to get that diffuser back, which is really good. Guac has also picked up some intel for the team, so this is not all lost. They are going to have to deal with the fact that they don't have the hard breaching to easily access more lines of sight. But it's really going to come down to this fragging here getting into sight.
Well, we do see Guac trying to do that aggressive push, and he will get a kill for his trouble. So Chaotic Thunder off the board. They already seem like they're actually getting a decent amount of control. This air jab could also stop the rotate coming through, and J-Flaw is going to get his head taken off by Guac. They're going to have now a key position to get this plant down. Maverick's just going to go frag hunting, it looks like, pushing into Attic there. But these other defenders, these last 2, are just not even near sight right now, so they're not going to be able to do anything about this plant. Now they have to try and retake. This is the same situation we saw last time. The other defenders are just not in sight, and they're not coming on those flanks fast enough.
Guac finally messing up that cooking of the grenade, not getting what he wanted, but he does get Cheesy when Cheesy comes up White Stairs, trying to find anything possibly to get that diffuser off. And Archangel is the last, left alone on main stairs. He's got a lot of firepower to deal with here. There's 3 rifles, all very powerful to deal with them, and just raining hell through that doorway, and it's just not going to work out. Chef Gusteau actually getting it with the 9mm.
Yeah, just disrespecting him with the pistol. Maybe not fully disrespect. Probably did run out of ammo, but still, winning with the pistol is a little BM, but who knows. In this case, that is 4 rounds, I believe. No, 3 rounds in a row coming out for UC Davis, and these defenders can't find much. It's been kind of the same story every time we have those 2 off-site. The attackers don't worry about the people off-site. They just go kill everyone in-sight, get the control they need, and then those last 2 defenders are left to try and retake after a plant is down and in the man disadvantage. That's not a formula for success. So BVU, they're going to have to figure something out here. I do hope that Archangel does stay on the Jaeger here. He needs to have that gun in hand. I don't think bringing the Captain Can has really done any benefit to them. And I think the Jaeger, of course, the carbine, one of the best guns in the game. You also have that security of the ADSs to stop some of this utility that's coming out.
Well, there's so many frag grenades on the other team.
Right, exactly.
That's so important to have right now.
Looking at the hold, it's going to be basement. They have all the sites available to them because they haven't won a single defense yet. So hopefully this is the the place where they can win. But again, they're not going to be bringing that Cade to slow down the hard breach at all. They're only going to have mute jammers, and so far those mute jammers again haven't been all that much of a problem for these attackers. They've been able to take care of those so swiftly, and before it's even halfway through the round, they've already seemingly gotten site control. I think every single round, roughly speaking, might be a little bit off of that, but it's fast enough that you just aren't burning enough time to be playing this passive defense that they like to do. And these roamers really need to have more information given to them because they seemingly aren't capitalizing on these potential flanks. And when they do finally come back to site again, it's post plant. It's too late.
Yeah, we need to see Amtro and Cheesy getting those early frags like before and opening up the game, but getting back to site when it comes down to it, because Guac is so unpredictable. He'll just appear somewhere in sight, and if you don't have anyone who's ready to deal with that, and you're just losing 2 people in sight and losing the plant, that's going to be so much. Huncho Panda, a great fragger, and I think player of the week last week as well, is going to be taken off, kind of stunting him here on his own map, which is going to be a great thing for Buena Vista to have picked up. That was a good pick for Chaotic Thunder with his MP5K and E-Box, but there's still quite a bit of push coming from Big Tower.
Yeah, and in this case, it's actually it's the Ash off the board, so it does have utility that you don't have any longer. Chaotic is just going to be on the soft wall and almost could have got taken out there had the attackers been a little bit more aware of that position. But I will say that Guac is probably the one you really want to take care of. He's been having a hell of a game. He took out someone last map many times. He had a double digits within 6 rounds, and then now he's already getting close. He's at 7 here, and Chef Gusteau actually doing really well as well. So looking at these attackers, though, they are taking a little bit more time than we saw them in the past. But again, no mute jammer here is going to allow them to open up these angles, and this is where the concern really starts to come through.
There's just a lot of movement inside objective from Buena Vista right now. No one's quite sure where to be, and Guac is still there in bunker looking for an opportunity, especially with these holes being opened up. There's just gonna be a lot more opportunities to get those. That Gunfire and X-Knight has full vision into the objective, and Guac has put up a 90-degree angle with that. Getting back in the site is going to be very difficult for Buena Vista now, especially losing another 2 players in J-Flaws and Amtro. Archangel and Cheesy hold the hopes of their teams on their hands, and there are 4 UC Davis players left. Plant going down. Archangel needs to move pretty quickly here. He's got Freezer all safe, but Plant is down. He didn't even know that was up. We saw a little burst of speed once he gets the notification. And Freezer is already being watched, and with a grenade. Guac picking up right before the kill, before the grenade actually went down. Cheesy gets his post-plant kill, but he needs 3 more to make it. And once again, the grenade comes out. Oh my god. They're averaging at least 1 per round. I think there's actually been 4 grenade kills. There's at least been 3 for sure. And the second one right here on stairs.
Yeah, this is just looking like the same thing repeating itself over and over. We can only talk about it so much, but yet again, 2 people left off site, didn't come back fast enough.
It's like
Everyone on site. It's just continual. And yeah, they looked actually a little bit better that round. They had got the opening kill. The attackers weren't pushing into site. It was halfway through the round when they finally started getting that wall open. But I do have to question some things, like where was the mute jammer on that elbow wall? The attackers hadn't pushed down Freezer yet. That just shows me that Mute simply hadn't put a mute jammer down. There's literally no position that the attackers had where they could have taken care of that mute jammer. The Maverick hadn't made any holes in the wall. So that's just a huge blunder. And then they just have a huge line of sight and you can't hold sight anymore. It's just like one of those things. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, and looks like they're not totally sure they're going to switch it up. Noticing that it's just been going formulaically, second floor, basement, playing out the same way. They're going to switch up the objective, actually head to first floor, sort of meet in the middle. And go for some different things. Already, J-Flaws is setting up these cams in Big Tower. That might be what the team needs, just to slow down that attack, get an early kill. Maybe take Guac off the board. At this rate, that's going to be really important to get for Buena Vista, is just taking out Guac. He's 9-0 right now. He's literally not died in 4 rounds.
Yet again, getting close to that 2 kills per round average. Last time he didn't quite have it, since the game did persist a little bit longer. I think anyone really thought it would after bringing up 6-0. It went to 7-2. And so after that, I don't think he got as many kills, but he still was averaging probably like 1.6, 1.7 kills per round. So it's really pretty good. And now he's only going to try and make it even better, as he is at 9. So he's over 2 kills per round. He could maybe take even a little bit of a break here. Just get 1 kill and you'll still have that even if you died afterwards.
Yeah,
so,
at this rate, he's going to hit double digits even sooner than last round or the last map.
right? This is a really good position from Cheesy. I like it when someone plays up here in the big tower, 3rd floor, and it's really hard to push them out. If you play it well, the only problem here is that there's nothing to really protect him. And so if someone else went on a rappel on the other side, they could try and pincer him. But this is still a lot of time that these attackers could be wasting trying to clear him out.
Yeah, he's given up his position, but we just saw him get those 2 drones. He's got the attention of the attackers, and this is a good time to move out before anyone really dedicates to get him. So that was actually quite a bit of resources. That frag grenade as well had to be used to try and get him. And Guac's finally off the board. Amtro getting the cheeky kill there. I think he must have been peeking out, or Guac might have pushed in really quickly and played guys on that. And Cheesy, oh my god, finessing. He went on that window to get that rappel that was going to come out in order to get him. He's just a step ahead right now.
That's a really good.
That's a 2-man lead already.
Well, not just a 2-man lead, but look at who they took out. The 2 players who have multiple kills. Everyone else on UC Davis' side only has 1 kill each. So this is really what you want. Now, Legacy is going to not be watching the correct direction, but he does manage to flick over and get J-Flaws. And also Huncho, who's been quieter this game, will now manage to wake up a little bit, get a kill on to Amtro. And now it's going to be an even man count. But no, Cheesy, he's still persisting there. Where's the drone work? We were so happy about it last map. In this case, it's not coming out. So they're just going to continue to allow this vigil to harass them.
Yeah, it's great. Even if they do get on those drones properly, it's still gonna be really hard to track down Cheesy. He's finally gotten their attention, and he just hasn't really distracted UC Davis yet. They've just ignored him and carried on. So once he's actually able to get their attention and hold on to it, is doing, like, served him really well. But Huncho Panda is really turning on this game, like you mentioned. That's a triple kill, pulling his KD back to even for this map. And he's only got 1 last guy to pick up, so he might be going for the squad kill. And that's what he's going to need here to actually clutch out the round and get another one for UC Davis, because X-Knight is not going to get that plant down as Cheesy is going to frag that. Huncho Panda picking it back up, hoping that Cheesy isn't still watching. It's going to be successful, and we're down to the 1v1 mano-a-mano with the clock ticking.
Yeah, Cheesy's going to try and push in here, find out where Huncho is hiding out, but he's laying down in a little rat corner here, so he can find himself this kill pretty easily, but it looks like the Vigil is aware of it. He's going to start shooting, but he misses the shots. Huncho standing up will take care of it, and they will get another round, the closest round so far, but Cheesy isn't quite able to carry his team over the finish line for that one. And in this case, Huncho came alive, 1 kill up to that point, gets a quad on that round, and that's really the story there. He just carried them to another win. That's 5 in a row. This is looking the exact same as last map, except for now they've switched sides.
Yeah, that was a beautiful round for Huncho Panda. But for Cheesy, that has to be one of the most frustrating things. He was ahead of the game all the way, getting his frags, really playing it off really well as a roamer. He did once again get caught outside of objective for the plant. I think that time, I mean, obviously it turned out way closer than any other time he got caught out. And he was really still way ahead, getting that kill through the smoke, through the hole in the floor. That is really impressive to get that, but he just didn't quite know where the last player was, and without any intel to give him, he just, I don't know, I guess kind of choked it out there with Huncho Panda finding it first.
Well, what we thought would be still a defender-sided map, we thought this might favor BVU, give a couple rounds for themselves before switching sides. They haven't found one, and this is their last chance to even get one. They might find themselves in a 5-1, or history could repeat itself. It could be a 6-0 coming from UC Davis. Another flawless half on the second map. That would be really quite a stinger on the confidence of BVU. In this case, UC Davis probably feeling really good at this point. But I think it just goes to show how versatile this team is of UC Davis. They had 2 players predominantly just stepping up, getting all those kills, and then when they 2 were not on the board any longer, what happens? Another player steps up, and of course Huncho, we saw last map, had already shown that he can do that, and in this case he's able to get the Jets spewing that fire like we like to see. And now what can BVU do?
Well, I imagine they're gonna keep it going like normal. Chef Cousteau is going for the same rappel on Big Tower. He knows that he might be expecting Cheesy in here, and he's pre-placed a drone in a really cheeky little hiding spot here, trying to make sure that he can get some eyes first. He's learned very quickly what he's going to be dealing with, and he's not going to waste that grenade so early. but there's still a whole player in there to deal with, and Cheesy has played this well last round, so I'd expect quite a bit from him. And Legacy is going to go down to Antro. They're backing up Cheesy, making sure that they can get another one. There's the one coming up for Cheesy as well on Guac. Those are great picks to have.
Where's the drone work? I have to ask. It just wasn't there this time. What was the Nomad doing pushing there? People like to aggress there a lot because everyone knows someone pushes their Archangel is going to get a kill for themselves onto Huncho Panda. And that's going to leave these attackers with a 2v5 situation. I do think that BVU has a very good chance now of finally getting that one round that they want. It will not be another flawless half, it seems at least, unless Chef Gusteau and Knight can somehow make magic happen here and bring another round for themselves. But a 2v5 and only half the round remains, and then a down onto Chef Gusteau isn't going to help that cause at all, actually. And
yeah, I was
now
about
we
to
have
say,
Knight.
Chef Gusteau's shown himself quite capable of doing a lot this map, but getting downed right there is going to leave a lot up to X-Knight.
What are they going to be able to do? They try and find one, but it's a flawless round coming up from BVU. Jay Flaws would finish it up. Actually, he got the down, excuse me, so it's the other player who got that last kill. Either way, though, no one died on their team that time, so that's a little bit of a confidence boost. Now they finally got the one round, but it's maybe a little bit too late, as they now have to go on to attack, which last map, and this is even in a harder map, arguably, to attack, it didn't go well. They got 6-0'd, so this isn't looking great for them still. I'm glad that, you know, they at least got one round. I mean, that's better than nothing, right? No one likes to get 7-0'd, but they're gonna have to show us that they fixed some of that coordination issue that we saw last map.
Yeah, this is kind of the boss round right here. UC Davis is on their map, they're on their defense, they're 2 rounds away from taking the map. This is the hardest it's going to be, unfortunately, for Buena Vista. Once again, this is sort of the really heavy pressure part of this map right here. We're looking at this, and they have to make some plays. They got to make some really important plays here. We saw them kind of coming into their own, especially Cheesy. You were mentioning all night having problems with a really conservative defense from Buena Vista, not being able to get what they needed from the roam, and Cheesy was able to step up. It took 4 rounds on this map to get into that pace. Really, unfortunately, they had to give up a lot for that, but Cheesy absolutely went off these last 2 rounds, and now we get to see him go on that Ash pick on that 7-5. He's going positive and really leading his team very heavily right now, and I think that's where the potential lies for Buena Vista right now. If they can get Cheesy in the right spot at the right time, like they did the last 2 rounds, he could really shine.
Hopefully Archangel as well can start clicking heads. We saw them pop off last map. They're a little quieter. Obviously, it's not horrible for them 4-5, but they are going to need to do a little bit more, as we've seen the other players on their team. No offense to them, but they haven't shown us the glimpses that we've seen, at least from Archangel. So they just need to step it up a little bit and kind of get back to that form that they had in the last map. Here, though, they're going to be upstairs in the defense. And they have to attack that, excuse me. And so what are they going to be able to do to clear out these castle barricades? They don't have the sledge like we saw last time, the direct counter to it. They don't even really have many breach charges. The only thing they have are ashes, of the ash projectiles, let's say, and that's it. They don't have any breach charges at all.
Yeah, it looks like Cheesy is losing some time here, and he's really important actually as a support player now. Unfortunately, it shifted once they found out that there's actually a castle on the board. He's going to have to be spending a lot of time opening those up with those breaching charges because his team needs it so badly.
Oh no, that was an easy kill, and Chaotic Thunder just missed the shots. So unfortunate. I do want to correct myself slightly. Like they can use some hard breach. They have the Hibana and the Thermite, and they could use that on the castles, but that's not really ideal.
Yeah, I would say quite the opposite of ideal. That's really hurts to have to do that. But here's that hard breach that you're mentioning coming out on Attic. It's halfway into the round, so maybe a little late for getting that open. They can definitely make it happen with a minute and a half left, though, and Attic all the way open now. But it's going to be a bit of a ringer once they get in there.
Yeah, it's really dangerous because if we look, these defenders, they have the shields of Goyle, they have the Valkamson. One of the players is actually going to be peeking onto the window there, so Archangel almost finding their lives taken away from them, but they do manage to survive. But the thing I was going to say is these 3 C4s on the board for these defenders. So if they start just funneling in, they could die. But one of those C4s is off the board as Archangel does get a kill onto Legacy. We see Knight trying to contest with the man outside onto the balcony. Cheesy is downed on that Astral. We had said that they were capable of popping off. They're going to need some help if they're going to continue to do so. Archangel will also be down. So these defenders not finding the kills necessarily, but they are slowing down the push simply by getting these downs.
X-Knight just does not know what he's done taking down Cheesy, but he's ready to get that C4 through into Attic, which could be absolutely devastational. He's opened up that hole with his Desert Eagle. And there, oh my god! A triple kill! 4 kills for X-Knight there, getting that down, and 3 with the C4.
That was massive. He just destroyed them completely. They were all huddled up. One of them's helping the other player get back onto their feet since they were down. We had mentioned that. And then what happens? C4 just completely puts an end to that. UC Davis, I think they've had enough. They're like, okay, we're just going to shut them down here. That's the first defense, and it's the first defense won. And so now they're going to be going down to the second most popular defense, which is that basement hold. And they're going to be trying to finish this up, as this is map and match point 6-1 for UC Davis. And they're trying to find that 7-1 to shut it down early and get out of here and be ready for those playoffs.
Wow, Buena Vista managed to get that flawless round 6, which was feeling really good, and all of that, I think, has just been taken away by that beautiful, beautiful C4. A great defense all around that really slowed down Buena Vista, but getting that to end that round and go on to match point is just going to do so much to Buena Vista's morale. This is looking like a good way to head on to finals, like you were saying.
Yeah, and they're already guaranteed to be there, but ending on a win is always going to be good anyway.
Absolutely.
Some people are like, oh, this doesn't matter. You can just kind of throw it. You don't want to show your strats or things like that. People say that. But that's really not the mentality that any team has. Like, you just don't want, it's not acceptable to lose. That's just the mentality. You want to win everything. Yeah. And you don't ever want to really underestimate an opponent either, because then you're complacent and they can capitalize on it. And you know, in this case, they are showing that they're really dominant. They're, of course, probably going to win this, but you just don't want to get complacent because that can still seep into the next game. So you just want to be at your best form. And they're showing that they really do have good form here. Yeah, there's some key players that are kind of carrying them at this moment, but the other players are still doing their job. We saw Legacy. He doesn't have the kills to show for it, but he's gotten plenty of air jabs that have caught out the flanks. Just one example.
He's done a phenomenal job anchoring with that Kaid. He gave several rounds to UC Davis single-handedly on our first map on Villa.
Right, and then Knight, he's been playing some flex/support. He gets the walls opened on the ace oftentimes as well. So these players, this whole team, they do seem to have that cohesion. They know their roles. Yeah, not everyone will necessarily frag, but they have the potential, and you really do have those top players who will just kind of carry in that department. We're going to see Huncho getting a kill. He's one of those fraggers we talked about, finding a second one for himself. That's going to open up this last round, as it seems like it might be the last round here. Huncho getting a double kill to open things up. And now, what are these attackers going to do? That's one of the hard breaches gone. The only one left is going to be Hibana. And Diffuser down.
Yeah, that's so much. 2 players in a Diffuser in the first minute. All to one play. Huncho started a little slow. Oh my god. A triple. He might just bring this home for the whole team right here. He is standing on that Diffuser, watching every angle that they could come from. He really just has his foot on their necks right now. He's waiting for these opportunities. There's so little utility left, just Chaotic Thunder and Cheesy. Even if they were in the same spot, there's so little that they could do to actually get into sight right now, especially against 5 different operators. With the Wamai and Jaeger charges all still up.
Yeah, there's not a lot for these attackers to do. Huncho's going to be trying to find another.
Finally take it down.
Yeah, we'll shut him down. But so much time still burned. So many players killed by the hands of Huncho. And he's going to end, even if this is the last round, he's still going to end up with 9 and 6, which is a very respectable score. Cheesy, though, he's going to be trying to add to his stats and maybe even get another round for his teams. They're in a 2v4 here. They still have a minute to play with, but Hibana, only so much capability with the hard breach. He's going to be engaging with a man in Freezer. That's Guac off the board. And yeah, he did get to that 10 we thought he would get to, but he hasn't gone any further than that, and he won't this round, as he's taken off the board pretty early. I wonder where those My Disc were placed. Will they catch anything? Cheesy might try and throw some of those concussions out from the Zofia, but so far, just nothing coming out. These attackers are going to have to start moving in. We're getting down to those last 30 seconds here.
Yeah, Cheesy has proved capable of getting these kills here in these high pressure moments. Chaotic Thunder, we haven't seen really be able to gear up to do that yet, and he's been a little bit behind on pushing this round. He's putting his flashbangs in, trying to get into Laundry, which is going to be what it takes to win. There's a nice pop of the Goyo, kind of slowing down X9, putting some damage on, giving a little more of a chance. But Chaotic Thunder needs to get in there. He needs to get that frag and open up Laundry for himself. And it's all down to him now to do that. Chef Gusteau gonna pick up a double, though, and say absolutely not. That's a great showing for UC Davis. Going into their playoff rounds next week, that's overall just going to be really great to see from them. A great showing also from Buena Vista, making sure not to go undefeated in a match that was slated against them. It was a rough one for them from the start, but again, just phenomenal showings from UC Davis, able to showcase so many members of their team.
Yeah, I mean, they just showed us that they are a complete team. They have everyone on their roles. They all look like they're comfortable on those roles. And I want to say that looking at the playoffs, I mean, they only lost 2 games, so they really do have a decent shot. They're in the 3rd place, so there are a couple teams who did perform better than them, but it's not a bad seed to have going into the playoffs here. And so that will be on the 15th. That'll be the first day of the playoffs. So that will definitely be the next time you'll see Rainbow6. And that's it, though. This is it. That was the last game of regular season.
Last regular season.
And it went out with a bang. One team performing. But I do want to say for Buena Vista, you're young, sophomores and freshmen, as I said, on the team. There's no one who's really gotten to that point where they might have played a few seasons of Siege and maybe another league or something, because this league just started, I believe. So plenty of room to grow, though. I want to be optimistic, right? They have a lot of room for growth. They will still be around, hopefully, the next season, so they can just continue to build off of this. There's a lot of things to learn. Looking back at the VODs, I'm sure they can see, try and emulate some of the success you saw the other teams. Why would they bring certain things? Where did they push? What did they do? A lot of things to learn if you go back and watch the VOD. So VOD review, very important. And, as college students, you might not have the time, but just a little bit of time can go a long way. So anything to add, Treasury, before we clock out here?
Yeah, just to really nail it into the coffin, April 15th, next Thursday, will be our first playoffs. That will be quarters. So that will be really exciting. Make sure you don't miss it, and keep your eyes open for UC Davis 2 heading on for the next couple weeks.
All right. Well, everyone, have a great night, and we'll see you then.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it.